overall control of an organization by the management is known as internal control. What is the main objective of internal control? That is, in order to safeguard the asset of the organization. Once the work has been completed, then only they can go for internal audit. So whatever the amount which has been received through this postal sales or through mail orders, so that has to be collected and it has to be deposited in the bank. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidyashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Today we are in the third session of Unit 3, that is internal check and internal control. So my dear students, in the previous sessions we have discussed about these two topics. So what is this internal check? So this is a verification which is made inside the organization, or the books of accounts has been checked within the organization, where the control of one person will be in the hands of some other person. So here the person who checks the books of account has to be authorized by some other person. So the authority of that particular person will be in the hands of some other person. Then what is this internal control? So overall control of an organization by the management is called as internal control. So these are the two topics which we have already discussed in a previous session. Now we shall quickly recall what we have discussed in a previous session. So in a previous session we have discussed this topic, that is meaning of internal control. So I have already told you. So what is the meaning of internal control? Overall control of the organization by the management is known as internal control. Next, features of internal control. Next we learnt about objectives of internal control. So what would be the main objective of internal control? To identify the errors as well as fraud, or in order to reduce the errors as well as fraud and make the external auditor or make the auditing work of an external auditor very easy. Next, scope or area of internal control. Next, we have discussed about essentials of good internal control. So, how a good internal control should be. So, that we have discussed in a previous session. Next, advantages as well as limitations of internal control. So, these are the few topics which we have discussed in a previous session. So, what you have to remember here? So internal control is nothing but overall control of an organization by the management is known as internal control. So this is done in order to make the auditing work of an external auditor very easy. That is, at the end of the financial year. So here an external auditor will be appointed in order to verify or examine the books of accounts. In such cases, so if this internal control is maintained in an organization, so it becomes easy for an external auditor to go through this verification as well as examination. In today's session, we shall continue with new topic, that is difference between internal check, internal control as well as internal audit. Let us see what are the difference between all these three terms. So it seems to be similar. So all these three terms seems to be similar, but let us see what is the difference between all these three terms. So if you see the meaning of internal control, so what do you mean by internal control? So as I have already told you, so it is a whole system of control established by the management. That is, inside the organization, the whole system of control which is established by the management is known as internal control. Then what is this internal check? It is the arrangement of accounting work. So it is a part of accounting work under which the work of one person comes under some other person. In the sense, one person will have authority of some other person. That is known as what? Internal check. So it is an arrangement of accounting work under which the work of one person comes under some other person. In the sense, a person will be controlled by some other person. Let us see what is the difference between internal audit. So continuous review of records by the staff appointed for the purpose. So what do you mean by internal audit? So as I've told you in a previous session, there are two types of audit, internal audit as well as external audit. So internal audit in the sense verification as well as examination of books of account inside the organization is called as internal audit. Then what is external audit? The verification as well as examination of books of account which is done by an independent person who is not linked with the organization is known as external auditing. Now, what is this internal audit? So, it is a continuous review of records or books of accounts of the organization is called as internal audit. So, these are the main difference or the difference in the meaning of these three terms. Now, if you see the second difference, the scope of internal control is very wide. So, when compared to internal check as well as internal audit, the scope of internal control is very wide. It includes both internal check and internal audit. So, here internal control includes both internal check as well as internal audit. So, it has a very wide scope. Whereas, the scope of internal check is less. So, when compared to internal control, the scope of internal check is very less. Then what about internal audit? So, how it is the scope? So, the scope of internal audit is less than that of an internal control, wider than internal check. So, here the scope of internal audit is less than internal control but more than internal check. So, here it is the scope is medium, whereas in internal control the scope is very wide, whereas in internal check the scope is very less, whereas if you see internal audit the scope is medium. So, it is lesser than internal control but more than internal check. Now, let us see the third difference between all these three terms. So, the objective is to safeguard the asset of the enterprise. So, what is the main objective of internal control? That is in order to safeguard the asset of the organization. Then what about internal check? Objective is to locate error as well as fraud. So, as I have told you, often on a regular basis, so these books of accounts will be checked inside the organization. So, what is their main aim? In order to reduce errors as well as fraud, or in order to minimize errors as well as frauds. Then what about internal audit? The objective of internal audit is to assure the management that the system of internal control and internal check in operation are effective in design and operation. So, here the main objective of internal audit is to check whether the internal control as well as internal check is working properly or not. So, that is the main objective. So, here if you see the third difference, so the main objective of internal control is to safeguard the asset of the organization, where if you see the main objective of internal check is to find out the error as well as fraud, and the main objective of internal audit is to see whether internal control as well as internal check is working properly or not. And the next one is there is no separate staff for internal control. So, there is no separate staff who is appointed for internal control, whereas coming to internal check, here also there is no separate staff. So, here all the normal employees in the organization will do this internal control as well as internal check. But what about internal audit? Of course, in order to do the auditing work, there should be a qualified person, right? So, what about internal audit then? It is conducted by the staff specially appointed for the purpose. So, here a purpose or a person is specially appointed for this internal audit. So, it cannot be done by all the employees of the organization. A particular employee will be appointed for this particular purpose. That is what? Internal audit. There will be a separate staff for internal audit. Next difference, internal control is exercised when the work of employee is in progress. So, when they are going to conduct this internal control, when the work is conducted in the organization, simultaneously internal control is being also conducted. But what about internal check? here also it is simultaneous in nature. So one side the work will be going on, simultaneously internal check will also go on. So internal check is exercised when the work of the employee is in progress. So here the employees will keep on working or doing their work simultaneously. This internal control and internal check will be made. But what about internal audit? So you know audit will be done at the end of the year, end of the financial year, or annually they can do, or for every 6 months they can do, or for every 3 months, that is quarterly they can do. But there should be a completion of work, then only they go for auditing, right? So it is undertaken by the auditor after the work has been completed. So once the work has been completed, then only they can go for internal audit. Whereas if you see internal check and internal control, so if the work is going on, simultaneously they can do this internal control as well as internal check. Next, any organization can adopt internal control. So it is a simple sentence. So any of the organization can control or can make internal control. But what about internal check? Here also any organization can adopt internal check. So there is no condition that there should be certain condition. They have to fulfill certain condition. So any of the organization can undertake or can adopt internal control as well as internal check. But what about internal audit? Internal audit is adopted only those who need it. So if it is required, then only internal audit will be conducted. So internal audit is adopted only those concerned which really need it. So one who needs it, they only undertake this internal audit. Whereas internal control and internal check can be adopted by any type of organizations. So these are the difference between these three terms, that is internal check, internal control as well as internal audit. Now moving on to the next topic, that is internal check as regards cash sales. So you might be knowing about internal check. So here they are going to check the books of accounts on a regular basis where the control of one person will be in the hands of some other person, right? So the main aim is to reduce errors as well as frauds which is made inside the organization and helps the external auditor to do the audit work very easily. Now let us see what is this internal check. We are going to particularly see about cash sales here. So how this internal check has to be made in respect of cash sales. So this cash sales may be affected in various ways. Let us see how this cash sales has been affected. So the first one is sales at counter and the second one is postal sales, that is sales under mail order, and the third one is sales by representatives and agents. So under these three situations, this cash sales may be affected. So which are the situations? Sales at counter, and the next one is postal sales, that is sales under mail order, sales by representatives and agents. Now let us see one by one. So how this internal check has been regarded or it has been given importance in respect of cash sales. So the first one is cash sales affected at sales counter. So we are going to consider this sales counter first. So how this cash sales has been affected. So one salesman must be appointed to look after one counter independently. So how we are going to make internal check in the sales counter. So how we are going to make? So one salesman must be appointed to look after one counter. So there will be number of counters. So for each and every counter, a single person or single salesman has to be appointed independently and should be made responsible for sales affected in his counter. So here each and every counter should not merge with number of salesmen. So here each and every counter should have individual salesman, that is one salesman, so that the organization will come to know if any effect or if any fraud or error which is made in that particular counter, this person will be responsible for that mistakes. if any fraud or if any error which is been conducted in any of the counter, so that particular salesman will be responsible for that. So for that reason, how this internal check can be made in the sales counter? So for each and every counter, a single salesman has to be appointed. So then he will be responsible for all the sales which has been made, or if any mistakes which is made in that particular counter. So each salesman must be issued with a separate cash memo. So how they have to make? So each salesman, so under each counter there will be a one salesman. So here each salesman should be given with one separate cash memo or sales memo book. The cash memo book may be printed in different colors of the business. So here what they have to do, for each and every salesman, they have to give one cash memo or sales memo for each person, that is for each salesman under the counters. So the cash memo books may be in different colors. So why it has to be given in different colors? To identify the counters. Okay, simple. So in order to identify the counters, so there may be number of counters. So in order to identify the counters, so it might be given in different colors. So each salesman must maintain a sales sheet. So here he will be having a counter, and whatever the sales happens in that counter, so for that, in order to record that, he has to maintain a sales sheet. He should record therein the sales affected by him. The summary of cash sales affected by him must tally with the cash memo issued by him. Now what he has to do? So for each and every counter, there will be a salesman. For him, we have to give a cash memo, and he has to prepare a sales sheet, and whatever the amount which is there in the sales sheet should tally with the cash memo which is given by him. So there will be a proper internal check regarding to sales counter here, right? So the amount in the sales sheet should tally with the cash memo which is issued by the salesman. Next, cash memo are to be issued with carbon copies. So this cash memo which is issued to the customers by the salesman should be made in carbon copies. So why it is made in carbon copies? In respect for, or it can be referred in the future. Next, the salesman must not receive cash on the cash memo issued by him. So for whatever the cash memo issued by him, so he should not be he should not mislead that cash memo. Next, all payments on the cash memo of the salesman must be made by the customer at the cash counter. Now here, the cash memo which is being given by the salesman, here the cash will not be received by the salesman. So it will be paid where? In the cash counter. So what work happens in cash counter? So here each and every salesman will be appointed for a particular counter, and he will be responsible for that counter. Now what happens here? For each and every salesman, a particular cash memo or a cash memo will be given to each and every salesman. Now the salesman issues cash memo, and he has to prepare a sales sheet where the amount in the sales sheet should tally with the cash memo, and the salesman will not receive the cash from the customers. So that cash will be paid where? In the cash counter. Next, sales are to be effected in the following manner. So how this sales has to be made? So 3 copies of cash memo must be issued to the customer. So here the salesman has to issue 3 copies of cash memo to the customer. The customer must present the 3 copies of each memo to the cashier at the time of making payment. So here I have told you, here the salesman issues the cash memo, but the payment is made in the cash counter, right? So all these 3 copies has to be given to the cash counter. The cashier must verify the particulars and satisfy himself regarding the total payment with reference to rates and quantity. So this cash memo contains the total amount to be paid as well as rate and quantity. So here the cashier has to verify all these. Next, the cashier on receiving the payment in the cash will place a rubber stamp on the copies of the cash memo as cash paid. So here the cashier will receive all the 3 copies of memos, that is cash memo, and seeing all the particulars, he will put a rubber stamp, that is telling that it is cash paid. Next, he will retain 1 copy. Here the cashier will retain 1 copy himself and hand over 2 copies to the customer. So there are 3 copies, right? So 1 copy will be retained by the cashier and other 2 copies will be returned to the customer. Let us see what the customer will do with that 2 copies. The customer must present the cash memo to the delivery department. So, 1 copy has to be given to the delivery department to collect the goods purchased. So, whatever the goods purchased, for that there are 2 copies now with the customer. So, 1 copy has to be presented in the delivery department. So, the delivery department will put the rubber stamp on the memo as goods delivered. That is for delivering the goods. So, he will put a rubber stamp as goods delivered. He will retain 1 copy as the evidence. Now, 1 copy is with whom? 1 copy is with the cashier and next copy is with delivery department. So, delivery department. So, here delivery department will retain 1 copy as an evidence for delivery and hand over another copy to the memo to the customer. Now, customer is having 1 more copy. So, 1 more copy is with whom? With the customer. So, these are about the 3 cash memos or 3 copies of cash memos. At the end of day's working, now how they are going to verify all these 3 departments? That is, one is sales counter and the next one is what? Cash counter, and the next one is what? This one, the delivery department. So, at the end of day's working, the salesman, the cashier and the gatekeeper. So, here the salesman, cashier and the gatekeeper should prepare the summary and submit to the manager or officer in charge. If these summaries tally, the accounts are certified as correct. So, what they are going to do? Now, they are going to verify all the 3 departments. One is salesman who have issued the cash memo. So, he has written in the sales sheet, right? So, that he has to verify. And the next is what? The cashier. So, here 1 copy is with the cashier who has received the amount, and the next is with the delivery department. Here for the goods to be delivered, so here 1 copy of cash memo has been retained by the delivery department. So, all these 3 departments will sit together and prepare a summary and they will present to the manager or officer in charge. So, if it is correct, then all these 3 copies will tally. That is of salesman as well as cashier as well as delivery department. So, this is regarding cash sales effected at sales counter. Now, let us see what is this postal sales, that is sales under mail order. So, this includes following aspect. So, all sales made by post, that is value VPP, that is value payable post. So, all sales made by post, that is VPP, should be recorded in a separate register to be maintained for the purpose. So, sales can also be made by post. So, all sales relating to post, that is in the form of VPP, value payable post, will be recorded in a separate register. So, all goods returned, if any, should be recorded in the register also. So, all sales made, at the same way all sales which has been received, that is it has been received or sales return has to be recorded in other register. The total amount of cash receipts including advance, if any, against the mail order should be entered in the register and same should be deposited into the bank. So, whatever the amount which has been received through this postal sales or through mail orders, so that has to be collected and it has to be deposited in the bank. So, all the entries in the VPP register should be checked by some responsible officer and special enquiries should be made in respect of those goods against which cannot be received. So, here what they are going to do? So, they will check the register. So, I have told you, so all postal sales, that is VPP, so that sales will be recorded in a register. So, a person has to check that register, a responsible person has to check the register whether all the entries are correct in that register. There should be a proper filing of mail orders. Of course, so this is regarding the sales relating to mail orders or through postal sales, where they are going to record a register and a responsible person has to check that register and check whether the sales is equal to the amount which has been received. Next, cash sales by representative and agents. So this is a third type. So we have already discussed about cash sales in the sales counter, and the next by cash sales by postal sales. And the third type is what? Cash sales by representative and agents. The representative and agents should be authorized to issue rough receipts to the customer against cash received from them. However, the final receipt should be given by whom? By the head office. Now, cash sales by representative as well as agent. So here they are not the owner of the business, right? So what they will do? So here they will give a rough receipts for the cash received, whereas the original will be given by whom? By the head office. The customer should be advised to communicate directly with the head office if they do not get the final receipt within a reasonable time period. So I have told you rough receipts will be given by this representative as well as agents, whereas final receipt will be given by the head office. So if the customer have not received the final receipt from the head office, then they have to directly contact the head office, not the representative as well as agent. The representative and agent should be instructed to remit the amount of cash collected by them to the head office without any delay. Now, whatever the amount which has been received from the customer, that is agent as well as representative who have received cash from the customer, so that cash cannot be retained by them, so it has to be immediately deposited into the bank or immediately submitted to the head office. Next, the representatives and agents must not allowed under any circumstances to deduct their commission. So here these representative as well as agents will work for the commission, but they don't have any right to deduct themselves from the amount which has been given or collected from the customers. So here the representative and the agents must not be allowed under any circumstances to deduct their commission or any other expenditure from the amount of cash collected by them. Of course, I have told you here they will directly collect cash from the customers, that is these agents and representative, but they don't have any right to deduct that amount as commission or any other expenditure. So it has to be directly submitted to the head office. The bill for commission and other expenses should be submitted to the head office. So if they have incurred any expenses or if they want commission, then that bill has to be submitted to the head office and the head office will provide amount for that particular bill. As a matter of routine, the head office should send periodical statements of the accounts to the customers with a view to appraise them with the latest position. So as I told you, so if the representatives or agents submit the bill, then that bill amount will be remitted by whom? By the head office to this representative as well as agent, but they don't have any right to deduct as commission or any other expenditure. Next, the representative and agent should be advised to submit periodical statement to the head office. Of course, they have to submit the periodical statement to the head office relating to the amount received from the customers, showing therein the amount of sales made by them. So, whatever the quantity of sales made by them and the amount received from the customers, the amount of cash collected by them and the name of defaulters. That is, those who have not paid. So, they are called as what? Defaulters. Or if there is any bad debts, so they are called as defaulters. So, whole thing have to be mentioned in the form of a periodical statement by this agent as well as representatives. The head office should issue reminder to those defaulting customers. Here, the agent or representative will not directly contact the customer, that is defaulter, who have not paid the amount. The head office will contact them who have failed to clear their dues. So, who have not paid the dues for them, this head office will give the warning. The representative and the agent must not be allowed to operate from a fixed place. So here this agent and representative will not operate their activity from a fixed place. So they will be on a different places where they will be doing their work. So on the contrary, they should be transferred from one place to another place and from one time to another time in order to increase their efficiency and to avoid the possibility of committing fraud. So here a particular agent or representative will not work under one place. So they will be moved from one place to another. So why this transfers will be made for this agent as well as representative? In order to increase the efficiency as well as in order to reduce the fraud. So if they work in a particular place, they will come to know the whole environment of that particular place, right? So for that, what they will do, they will be transferred from one place to another to increase the efficiency as well as to decrease the fraud which is committed by these agents as well as representatives. So in my next session, I am going to discuss this topic, that is internal check as regards purchase. So in today's session, we have learnt about internal check as regards sales. So how we have to make internal check in respect to sales. In my next session, we shall discuss about internal check as regards to purchase. So my dear students, in today's session we have learnt what is the difference between internal check, internal control as well as internal audit. Then we have learnt about internal check as regards sales, that is cash sales. In my next session I am going to discuss about internal check as regards purchase. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.